Hi guys, so today it's time for my 2-week portfolio update in the trader versus trader competition that I am doing in collaboration with Stake. And if you missed it, it's basically me against Pete from Conversation of Money, and we're just going to try and see, as a bit of fun, who can get the biggest gains over a 6-week period. I've chosen the renewable energy sector and Pete's chosen tech. And I think over the last week or so, we have both taken a bit of a beating to our portfolios. For the first week or so, I was up quite a bit, which was really nice. And then this week, I spent the majority of the week quite down on my portfolio. But what I'm going to do is just show you what stocks I've chosen to invest in and how they're performing at the moment. What I would like is, if you suggested one of the stocks that I've invested in, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to hear if your stock was one of the ones that I ended up choosing. And just before we get into it, don't forget that you can get a free share of Nike, Dropbox or GoPro when you do sign up with a referral link and top up $50. I also do have a more in-depth review that I did back when they were still really new to the UK, so you can go check this out if you are interested. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the portfolio. Okay, so you can see here that I'm actually 0.8% up at the moment, which is really nice to see. It's basically only $8, but at least it's over the initial 1,000 invested. I did spend most of the week looking at about 995-ish, so it's really nice to just see it creep over the 1,000 mark. So I'm going to take you through all my holdings now, but the first thing I need to do is switch here on the app from the daily profit and loss to the total profit and loss, because it's a really cool feature here that they have, but it can get confusing sometimes for me when I'm looking at it and going, oh, I'm this down overall. So I'm up 3% in one day, which was yesterday, so today is Saturday. So let's just switch this to total. So you can see on the screen all the different positions that I hold. I've got 13 positions in total, and you can see here that it's a nice mix of green and red, with now the majority of them being green, which is really, really nice. There are 2 positions that seem to be completely holding up my portfolio at the moment, and those are Tesla, which is no surprise there. So I invested the bigger chunk of my money in Tesla here, about $150. So you can see here my equity is 156, and my total return is 650. So I invested about 150 here. Reason being is that I did think that out of all of these positions, I wanted to have at least one that felt a little bigger and more stable than the others, because a lot of these were very speculative and I just wanted something that was a little bit more well-known. The other one that's holding up my portfolio really well is Enphase Energy. I think this was a suggestion from one of you guys, so if it was, let me know. But this I'm doing really, really well on. So I'm up 11.6% here, which is $11.60. So I invested $100 in this one. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about how I went about analyzing the stocks and choosing the stocks, and a lot of it you can do within the Stake app itself. So if we do look at Enphase Energy, you can see here they've got the charts that show you the daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. chart, and it has been steadily rising, it seems, although it has had a recent dip. You can see here you've got the number of views, trades and people watching per stock, which I think is really cool. I love to see what other people are thinking. And then over here you've got the sort of summary of the financials in terms of the dividend yields, the market cap and the PE ratio. So obviously this PE ratio 156 is insane. It's quite high, and there are different ways that you could interpret this, and generally speaking, higher PE ratios can mean that companies are poor value. However, with industries such as renewable energy that are quite new, it could also be an indication that investors are expecting high earnings in the future. So if we look at this analogy here, a high PE ratio suggests that investors expect a high level of earnings in the future and that growth will be strong. The share price has risen faster than earnings on expectations of an improvement in performance. Now, obviously this is still risky, but considering the short time frame for me, I've had to take a lot more risk, as I've said before. So if we carry on, we can see here a summary of what the stock is, what the company is. They are a provider of energy management solutions, designing, developing, manufacturing and selling microinverter systems for the solar photovoltaic industry. That's a lot of words, a lot of very scientific words. Now, the next thing to look at is news, and this is again another really handy thing that shows you news. And this was actually really good for me earlier on in the week when everything was tanking, and I went into one of the ones that was basically performing the worst, and I went on the news section, and it actually had a news article that said why these hydrogen stocks are all plummeting or something like that. And it was really interesting to read and see that this was actually something that was happening to the sector rather than just my poor choices. So that was quite comforting. So if we go into, for example, top stocks 2021, if you only buy one solar stock, it better be Enphase Energy. It's this whole article that goes into why you should look at Enphase Energy. And whilst I'm not very scientific, it talks about why the stock is a good investment, and it talks about the microinverter technology takes the direct current power from the solar panels and converts it to alternating current power. So it talks about how this helps for evening and cloudy days. Again, I'm not very good at science, but it was a really interesting read. Then we've got the Analyst Ratings. I've spoken about this on a lot of my videos where I think the Analyst Ratings are a great addition to any stock analysis. There are multiple places you can get them from, but obviously this is built in here. And you've got the fact that 100% of these analysts are suggesting this stock as a buy. And if we look at the price targets, it shows you what each of them are saying the price could be. So you can see that Evercore is showing that the price target would be 184. Then we've got Tudor Pickering are saying 195, and Susquehanna are saying 200. So it just gives you different opinions from analysts who do this for a living, essentially. Now, finally, you need to look at the financials, right? So you've got here their revenue graph for the last 4 quarters. You can see it dipped a little bit, but now it's gone up even more. And so has their EBITDA. I can never say this properly, but the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. You can also see the earnings per share and the balance sheet as well. If you want any more detail, you can go into the proper details here and really go into the analysis. I'm going to stop waffling about this now, but I actually think that this is a really good stock pick that I might actually add to my normal portfolio, because I think that from the research I did on this, it seems really good. In terms of the worst performing ones, we've got Gevo Inc. I am down 14.5% on this one. It does seem to have dipped quite a bit. And Plug Power, which has completely tanked. Honestly, the only reason I went for Plug Power is because I've seen really good returns with it in the past, and it doesn't seem to have paid off. But we'll see what happens. The last one worthy of a mention is NEO. I'm up 10.5% on NEO. You can see here it's had a lot of trades, 6,800 trades actually, and there are 800 people watching. But yes, about $10 I've made from that. So that's pretty much it for the portfolio. Obviously things on a short-term scale are very volatile, and I might be up one day, shooting down another day, and the winning is pretty much going to come down to what the market is doing at that day. So obviously one of the things that we both have to consider is whether or not we are going to be taking profits and selling stocks and buying into others. I don't generally do that, but it might be something to consider here. It's all fun and games, and we'll see how it goes and how we both perform. So stick around and hopefully I have some sort of shot at winning. If you have any questions, or if you've got any other things that you want me to go through when I do the next updates, do let me know. I'm not sure how much detail you guys want me to go into, so it'd be great if you comment down below and let me know. Anyway, that's it for now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.